From the very first act of the Song of the Walking Moon, we learn that Columbina's true name is unknown even for herself. But during the third act, we receive a new clue, the final piece needed to solve this enigmatic puzzle. Because behind this mystery lies not just a name, but a story of lost identity, one with roots embedded in blasphemy, love, and above all, music. When the story leads us to the secret space opened by Arlecchino, where the Crimson Moon resides, in order to retrieve the iridescent moon marrow, the traveler absorbs the abyssal corruption that shrouded it. For a brief moment, the consciousness of the deceased goddess begins to address someone whose name starts with the prefix Hypo.
Trust me when I say that everything happens for a reason. Farewell, Hypo.
During the monologue, there were only 3 people present: Columbina, the Traveler, and Paimon, the latest one claiming that none of them had ever met the goddess before. So, who was she speaking to? She couldn't have been addressing the Traveler, as it would have been logistically impossible for them to have met. The Moon Sisters existed and died long before the Traveler ever set foot in Teyvat. So, for this simple chronological reason, we can discard them. They could not have met before this moment. The second, and much more interesting possibility, is that she was addressing Paimon, the Traveler's companion. This is a logic possibility because even after all this time, we still know next to nothing about her. Perhaps she had a different name in the past that she no longer remembers. Or maybe she's hiding something from us. Who knows? In any case, this hypothesis doesn't hold up. Columbina would have realized if Paimon had any connection to the moons. There's a reason we've been given 2 examples of her perceptive powers. She automatically sensed when the Traveler possessed the eternal moon's marrow, and she similarly sensed Arlecchino's connection to the Crimson Moon from their very first encounter.
The first time we met, I sensed something familiar in your presence.
We can say with certainty that Paimon has no connection to the Moon Sisters, at least not a direct one. I have a theory about that, but that's a topic for another video. Therefore, through the process of elimination, we are left with only one, and the most logical candidate, Columbina. And this is where the real problem arises. She believes that the iridescent moon goddess is confusing her essence with that of the previous frost moon goddess.
For a fading soul like hers, our auras must be too similar to tell apart.
This is a logical conclusion, but is simply wrong. Her birth occurred approximately 500 years ago, thousands of years after the events that destroyed the moons. How is it possible for the iridescent moon goddess to recognize her? When Columbina was found by the Frost Moon Scions, she was already an adult, possessing no prior memories save for a single song imprinted deep on her soul. She herself mentions that something is missing from this story, a lost prologue that will be revealed in this video.
It is all I remember from the moment of my birth. A melody, a few lines of lyrics, like a lullaby from a foggy dream.
The song is a lullaby a mother would sing to her child before bed, and within its lyrics lies a direct confirmation of the child's identity. O cara filia lunae, dear daughter of the moon, Columbina is not just the new moon goddess, she is a direct descendant in the line of succession, the daughter of the former frost moon goddess. And it makes sense. Think about our first interaction with her. We were guided by Lunotar, who bore the former goddess' blessing. Columbina becomes extremely attached to it very quickly, and the feeling is mutual. Even though they had never met, she instinctively recognized the familiarity of the blessing it carried. But let's return where we began. That initial highly emotional monologue. The tone in which that plea for forgiveness is delivered, and the words used, clearly suggest a familiarity between the two. Once purified of the abyssal corruption, it would be no surprise for the consciousness of the iridescent moon goddess to recognize her own niece.
Is it you? Are you here? Huh? Are you at long last? I can see you once more. Our fates have crossed.
So, if Columbina was already alive during the time of the Three Moon Sisters, how is it possible that she was born as the prophecy foretold only 500 years ago? This paradox is merely a matter of perception. She believes she was born then, when in fact she simply awoke from hibernation. A mother in distress, aware of her approaching end, puts her child to sleep one last time before her final breath. She places her into a space hidden from prying eyes, sending her descendant into an uncertain future, devoid of memories of what transpired, with nothing but a single gift: a song. She then creates a prophecy foretelling the birth of a new goddess, spreading it to her closest followers, who in turn spread the prophecy further. We aren't strangers to this kind of narrative misdirection, though in a different context, of course. This prophecy wasn't just a way to make her followers accept the secret child, hidden from history. It was more than that. It was a method of concealing the remnants of a past that only the Three Moon Sister knew about. A past that would be destroyed at all costs if the heavenly principles ever learned of this direct descendant's existence. And so, approximately 500 years ago, Columbina awoke with no memories and no identity. Then she was found by the followers of the Frost Moon and given the role foretold by the prophecy. Since we know the names of the moon goddesses are closely tied to music, aria, canon and sonnet, it's natural to conclude that Columbina's true name also belongs to the same musical nature. And to solidify this connection even further, we just need to look at the place where she was found. In the upper part of the pillar, there is a draconic mechanism that looks remarkably close to a vinyl record, an analog information storage system. And when it was activated hundreds of years ago, Columbina awoke from her long hibernation. Therefore, if the reasoning presented so far is correct, Columbina's name must begin with the prefix hypo and be closely tied to a musical concept. I don't know much about music or music theory, so anyone who understands it better is welcome to clarify or add to this in the comments below. That said, after a bit of research, I can say that I found a much stronger connection than I initially believed. In music, the prefix hypo is very old and is used to name the plagal mode. In Greek, it means under, as in under the range of the authentic modes. We thus have an incomplete goddess who is in every possible way under the three original authentic moon sisters. She is not yet a complete frost moon goddess, but the daughter of one. In the familial hierarchy, she's lower. She doesn't have yet full authority over her moon powers. The reason being the rejection of her very existence by nature itself. The past was meant to stay in the past, but the connection goes even deeper. The word plagal itself comes from the Greek plagios, which means oblique, lateral or sideways. She's a successor who has come sideways through time via that forced hibernation, completely bypassing the natural order of succession thanks to a new identity. And this leaves us with 4 plagal modes. The key to choosing between them isn't how they sound, but their ethos, the emotional character that ancient theory attributed to each one. And the ethos of the Hippolydian mode is consistently described as gentle, tranquil, contemplative, and at times melancholic. This is a perfect match for Columbina's personality. She is calm, mysterious, and defined by that lullaby, a gentle song, yet one that carries a deep melancholic sadness. The other modes simply don't fit nearly as well. Given all this, in my opinion, the choice is no longer subjective. The Hippolydian mode becomes the only logical candidate. Therefore, Columbina's real name must be Hippolydian or a direct variation such as Hippolydia. If you want more crazy theories, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I have several theories about Paimon, the true nature of the planet Eyvat, and the former fallen civilizations.